Welcome back to another episode of Desire to Inspire, your mama's favorite podcast. Sorry about the technical difficulties last week.
That was going to be the first thing out of my mouth is I feel like we need to apologize.
Hey, you know, you guys, when you implement something new, when you try something different, there's always an adjustment period. And like we told you, we're using 3 cameras. So
to be fair, we're still doing different things today.
Yeah, we are. So hopefully they keep improving, but that's part of the process, man. We are not professionals, and what that does is show you guys that you don't need to have all the answers to get started, to get things going, and to get things moving.
You don't need any of the answers sometimes. Sometimes we turn these little dials, and they tell us something like, I don't know what that means, but let's try it.
Hey, it's about adapting and overcoming, figuring things out, and pushing through.
Feeling real tribal today, huh?
All the stuff. It's in my blood. It's in my veins now, baby.
I was actually thinking about this on the way over here, so we don't need to spend a ton of time there if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But you're like less than 3 months out now. How's everything feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good, feeling strong. Kind of alluded to it in my daily drive-by not long ago. But it's easy for me to say I'm feeling good, I'm feeling strong. But again, I'm focusing on where I'm putting the pressure and where I'm putting my like attention and thoughts. And so what I've been like extremely cautious about during this whole entire prep and training is to focus on the big picture. And the big picture for me is not a time goal. It never has been. And I was getting caught up in people asking me like, what's the time you're going for? What's the time? And like, I truly want to just keep hammering home that I'm trying to pull the most out of this I can. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to push boundaries through doing hard fucking things and overcoming those, persevering through them, and then taking the lesson out of it. So my main goal when I do this race is to be that person on the course that sees somebody struggling. Hey, let's go. Let's run a little bit together. You got this. Or when I'm struggling, picking myself up and doing that same thing and just realizing like it's going to be fucking hard. There's not going to be anything easy about it. I'm swimming 1.2 miles. I'm biking 56 miles. I'm running 13.1 miles. There's nothing easy about that. And so my mindset has to be as clear going into it as what is the bigger picture? Why are you doing this? And why did you even sign up for it? I didn't sign up for it to make you happy. I didn't sign up for it to prove anything to Tone.
I'd rather you run a marathon. Hey,
I didn't sign up for
it. You do what you got to do.
For literally any other reason than to find a deeper purpose within myself to be now a better fiance, to be a better friend, to be a better person, to advance DTI, to just live a better lifestyle through doing hard shit. And so like it's been fun. I mean, it's not something that I like check the boxes every single day in terms of like, did I do the workout specifically to this for this long, this time, blah, blah, blah.
That's surprising coming from a guy who loves to check the boxes.
But I'm checking the boxes in the most important way is when I do these workouts, I'm making sure, or when I have them scheduled, I'm making sure that I'm checking them off. I'm making sure that I'm doing them. But sometimes it needs adjusted. Sometimes my body's like, hey, go out for an easy run. Don't do a zone 3. Sometimes I have to get an hour and a half bike ride versus a 2 hour. It's part of the process, man. Sometimes I fucking miss my swims because of travel. Like there's things I can't control. But if I focused on all that stuff, then I should be going to be a competitive Ironman, like world champ or whatever.
Do you feel more comfortable swimming now?
Yeah. Dude, last week, I think I had my breakthrough. In the sense of like, okay, I feel confident.
You posted about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say I thought I saw it. But there's also, sometimes this pops up as a memory of me saying that I'm a fucking fish. And I'm like, I'm not a fish, dude. Like, I don't know what I was thinking in that moment, but I'm not a fish.
You were feeling good in that moment. Yeah, my swim the other day felt amazing. So I have a baseline right now. And what I finally started to do is watch some videos on YouTube and just like truly understand like what does breathing look like in the water? I
did that for hours, bro.
Yeah. And so like once I took that stuff and I was able to digest like, okay, I'm not doing this. So like when I do a stroke and enter the water and then I pull back and then my hand placement and all these different things.
It's so much to think about when you're under the water though.
It is, especially when you don't know any of it.
So obviously like I have no doubt that you're going to complete the race at all. I feel like even you not putting a time goal, I feel like you're going to put up I don't know, honestly, what a good 70.3 time even is to know, like, what's good, like what's doing good for your first time, especially like when you haven't really done any of these disciplines at this length. I am curious selfishly to know how you're fueling, because that's where I'm the most afraid for you, just because I feel like you've never done anything for this long of a time at once.
Yeah. Started putting out a focus on it. Shout out to First Form. During my long bike rides, I have the stuff that you use during your like 69-mile race.
Okay.
So I've been doing that, putting 3 scoops in a water bottle and then having a regular water bottle. So that's the start to it. But I need to start fueling during my runs that I'm doing. I need to start fueling, I guess, not during my swim, because it's not like I'm going to pull out a gel.
It's impossible.
But I need to start getting gels.
It probably would be good, though, to get used to taking something before a swim.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing you can do is you start that swim and have to take a shit.
Crash out. Yeah, so that'll be something. We just started our tribal like accelerator calls, and those are just like, I think they're weekly or bi-weekly.
Is that for like new people coming in, or is that to like get everyone who's doing Chattanooga ready?
Both. Okay. So he took me into the Florida accelerator, and what that did was got me familiar with those guys' mindsets, what they were prepping for, what they were looking for. That was early on when I joined tribal, and then now he's got the group together that's doing Chattanooga, and then he'll bring in some new guys so that way they can start hearing
another race. So they're in like the shoes that you were in. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. I haven't been able to join one of those because they've been when I've been traveling for work. So I'll listen to the recordings and hear it. But that's one thing that I need to start dialing in on right now is the nutrition and fueling aspect of it. But I think I have like a good idea. And again, I've started working on it, but it can improve drastically.
Yeah, I mean, that will literally make or break you. So that was literally my only concern. The only other person I really talked to about it is Justin. And I was just like, I know he's doing 2-hour rides, but like you could get away with, if they're later in the day, not really fueling.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should probably bring it up just to make, I'm sure Ryan's also talking to you about fueling, but I'm like, I should probably bring it up just to make sure that this guy's like starting to, because that's going to be a long day.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and one of my change outs, I want to have Uncrustables there. I don't know why. I think that I'll just fucking love those.
I mean, I was smashing them during the 12-hour.
Yeah. That is right. Maybe that's where I got the idea from. But I was walking. I was like, dude, an Uncrustable would be so fucking good.
Justin just has them at our house all the time.
Oh, they're elite. I mean, there's nothing like them in that realm of space.
I don't even know what else is. Do they have a competitor? There has to be like a knockoff brand Uncrustable. But why would you get anything that's not an Uncrustable?
Right. If not, Logan Paul will probably fucking create one.
Shit, I might.
I wouldn't hate it. Desire to inspire Uncrustable. It's kind of cool.
I don't think you're allowed to call them Uncrustables.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd have to have a new name.
That's facts. It's kind of cool that you asked that question though, because I was journaling today, and I was behind a few days from this trek in Georgia that I just had, and so I was getting caught up, and I was telling you before, I have 3 years of journal entries now, and so this is the 4th year of my 5-year journal, and going back through it, it's just really fucking cool. But you sent me a text early in the week and was like, don't watch your drive-by. And I took that as like, don't read your news article either.
That was from a couple weeks ago. So you could have read that one.
Because I read like the first few sentences and I was like, maybe I shouldn't read this. And I exited it. But you asking me about my half Ironman, just staying on track with that. I had a journal entry and it said 1 step, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. The habits and patterns compound so you reach the goals and dreams you have set forth. Once you commit, you will achieve. And I was like, dude, kind of gave me chills because I was like, that's life right now.
Is that your whole journal entry?
Yeah.
Damn, bro. I'll be in my head about how much I need to put. That's all I need to write in a journal. I'll be like, not one to journal some days. And I could write that much.
Yeah. No, like, mine are just little snippets. Like
I'll be writing full ass pages and my hand hurts. I feel like I'm fucking writing an essay sometimes.
Yeah, no,
because sometimes I do just spill them out, and sometimes like I don't even know what to write today, man.
Yeah,
but I could do that every day.
Dude,
that's a fucking tweet.
Yeah, the 5-year journals are amazing. They give you like enough for a little paragraph, tiny little paragraph. But I was listening or I was reading that, and then I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, bro, that like 3 years ago, I couldn't even take a step without falling. I couldn't even take a step without like having a bad thought. I couldn't take a step without having a bad meal, a drink. And I look at it And it like truly is taking those steps at first and realizing like it takes time, just like it takes time a baby to walk. Like we have to think of things with a longer perspective on life instead of just that instant gratification that's so easy to get wrapped up in. Because when I was reflecting on that journal entry, I was like, holy shit, like all of the stuff that I've been working on, that we've been preaching in DTI, that we instill in other clients, like they still don't see the true value, because years down the road, they're going to be like, fuck, this is why I did all this stuff. And now look at where I'm at. Now you don't think about the steps. You don't think about the eating. You don't think about, because it continues to flow and it continues to stay in motion during those hard times, or during those busy times, or during those times where like you really want to give up, but you stick to like key foundational little things that don't get you off track, that don't veer you off, that don't make you look back and be like, oh my God, I fucked up again. And so it keeps you on path. And so I just wanted to like touch on that, because we think that we have to make these huge strides in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And that's not how it should be. Life is fucking long. It took you long to get to where you are. Now it's going to take you a long time to get to that next spot. But like, dude, I'm winning the month so fucking much now that I can truly say like I'm winning the years. And even though year after year, there's stuff that I want to improve or do different or like elevate.
That's how it should be, though. There should never be a time where you're like, you know what? I think I got it. I'll figure it out.
Yep. And so the years are truly starting to compound now. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like the engine is like moving. The train's getting some speed. And if I can just keep this up and keep doing it, that breakthrough and that thing that we always talk about, that we always dream for, that we always strive for, is just around the corner. But again, we can't approach things with a month-by-month basis. It's got to be longer than that. It's got to be longer than a week-by-week. It's got to be longer than a day-by-day, because this shit takes time to fucking program into your mind to be like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I get to do this. I don't have to do this.
But that's why I do think that it needs to be day by day, because every day you need to make the decision.
Correct, day by day, but it doesn't change day by day is what I'm saying. The day-by-day actions are what build up to it.
Well,
but
yeah.
People think that they're going to do something good for a day, a week, and they're going to see this change.
Okay, I got you.
And that's not how it fucking works. And so I want people to get that mentality out of their head. And it's like, nah, you got to start winning the years to like really, truly elevate and go. But start winning the days, because that's how it starts. Win the days, then you win the weeks, then you win the months, then you win the years.
But even if you look at it as an everyday thing, like you're going to eventually win the year. Like in AA, if somebody's getting sober, they just say, just don't drink today.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, it's just make the good decision today. And when you wake up tomorrow, make the good decision today.
Yep. And that's what I'm alluding to, is like my days have compounded so much over the couple of years that I finally feel like, dude, you're winning the years. Before it was like, yeah, I'm winning the days. I'm checking the boxes. I'm doing good. Fuck, I fell off a little bit. Now I'm back. Now I fell off. And then it was like, once I started winning enough of those days, I'm like, oh, that was a good month. That was a good month. And then that rolled. And now I feel like the big picture is just like elevating more. So it was just something cool reading that journal entry.
It even kind of goes into the whole reason of why I didn't want you to watch my video this week. So my run thought this week was essentially around going through the motions.
Okay.
And I didn't want you to know where my head is at when I bring up that topic. I'll tell you because it's in the video, but obviously everyone hasn't listened to that either. When I was running, I had a lot of things going through my head this week, to the point where like I was listening to an audiobook and I just stopped it. And then after a few miles, I had 1 mile left. I just had to stop and record. Like there was a lot of shit going on, all just kind of slamming into each other. And I was like, I just need to get it out. Mm-hmm. It might not be a great formulated thought, but I know that there's something here and I can dive deeper into it on the podcast or in a newsletter. But I didn't want you to know like where I was going with this. Mm-hmm. But I am curious as to when you hear the term going through the motions, what you think.
So for myself, going through the motions.
For anyone, there's not a wrong answer here. I'm not trying to catch you up in a trap.
But I think there's two ways to look at this. For myself, I think going through the motions is checking the box on like the habits that I've instilled over the years. So like my going through the motions is still, all right, I'm checking these, but like there's no energy, there's no charisma about it. There's like, it's just simply, okay, I did this today. Cool. I can go and do whatever else I have to do. But I feel like majority of people, when they go through the motions, they don't have that set structure. They don't have that foundation built to really get things out of life or get things out of their day, because it's like, oh, I'm going to work. And then they come home from work and it's like, well, I'll pick this food up on the way. And then they get home and they eat that food. They sit on the couch, they scroll social media, they watch Netflix, and they don't have anything that's like the foundation or something holding them accountable to anything. And so going through the motions is just, to me, staying pretty stagnant in life and not having that like drive to even want to better yourself, like physically or mentally. You just are kind of existing.
Okay. So you're putting the spin on it that I expected to kind of be put. I feel like, which I kind of touch on in this video, that there's a strict negative connotation towards going through the motions. And so, yes, it can be like what you said with checking off the boxes. And the place that I am struggling with this is around my faith, which is something we've been discussing the last few weeks. And I just feel like there's times where I just don't want to even do it. And I know that it needs to be more than just like go to church. And then the other days, like things need to happen. And so while I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, but if I had a client who doesn't want to work out that day, I would tell them just go to the gym. You'll feel better when you get done. And you can go to the gym and you can have a workout. You might not be fucking all hyped up to be there, but you can do the work and you're still going to come out of that better than when you went into it.
Yep.
And even now, there's times where that's what it is for us. That's like you checking the boxes just to get them done, because that's your habit, that's your routine, that's the structure of your life. You know these things need to get done.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they're not that way. And so I was just thinking about it in terms of like, obviously, like God wants us to be on fire, like 100% all in. But at the same time, isn't it better if when I don't want to open up the Bible, or I don't want to listen to a sermon, or I don't want to put on music, that I just do it anyways? Because then it's going to become a habit. And so that's like where my head's been at, is that I've been feeling pulled away from other things, like to do something. And the easy thing for me is be like, no, I'm not doing it, because I don't want to do it. But I can go through the motion of doing it, and eventually like that motion is going to get more fluid. Like it's going to become like, in order to excel at any type of workout movement, you have to go through that motion. You have to do the motion of a squat, the motion of a deadlift. It's going to feel weird at first.
Yeah.
But the more you repeatedly go through the motion, the more fluid and why can I not think of the word I'm trying to say here? Efficient that it's going to be.
Yeah, it's because like I think about it, and I feel like the second half of last year, I was going through the motions. Interrupting the pod for sponsor time. First Form, you guys hear Dylan and I talk about it all the time. They have you covered from A to Z, no matter what supplements you need. Whether it's proteins or fueling for an endurance race, First Form has you covered. Their mission is to help one person a day. We love that here at DTI because our mission is to help people live a healthier, happier lifestyle. And we believe that using First Form supplements can enhance what your goals are. So whether it's a supplement that First Form has, or you want to rock their merch, visit the link in our bio, www.firstform.com/DTI to get yours today. Back to the pod. And so again, like going through the motions to me is like still doing the things that I know I need to do, because I don't want to get back to the lowest point that I've been in my life. And I don't want to get back to having those like dark days or thoughts. And so going through the motions was like simply checking the boxes. I'm making sure I was getting a little workout, getting my steps in and doing that stuff. But if I wouldn't have went through the motions of doing that, then I wouldn't have gotten to this point. So yeah, I guess there is a negative connotation around it, like you said. But the one thing too is, if you're going through the motions, does that mean that you're not challenging yourself enough?
I don't think you can go through the motions forever. That's not at all what I'm saying. I think that there's going to come a time where but things ebb and flow. Like sometimes you're super motivated to do things. Other times you're not, but still doing them is discipline. Yeah. So I would argue that going through the motions is just being disciplined. And these are the things that I know are going to push me further. So whether I want to do them or not, it's a non-negotiable at that point. And so, yes, you obviously need to be challenged. But for what I'm speaking to, it is a challenge. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm going through the motion of doing it, but it's also a challenge because there's a lot of things I'd rather be doing.
Yeah. You brought up discipline in there, and I think that that's such a key word, and I'm so glad that you use that instead of the word motivation, because I saw a post about motivation and discipline that I put on my story, and I wanted to see your thoughts around it. I almost made my daily drive-by around this whole concept of motivation and discipline, but because you just used it in the context of describing your topic, what are your thoughts around those two words, and why did you pick discipline to describe that instead of motivation?
Motivation is a feeling and discipline is an action. Motivation comes and goes. You can be motivated and you can be unmotivated. Mm-hmm. Discipline, the only way you're undisciplined is if you're not doing things. But if these things actually matter to you and you're doing them day in and day out, it doesn't matter whether you're motivated or not. It matters if you show up. Showing up is the discipline part.
Yep.
The way you show up, I guess, could be motivated. But even that, like, so many people will say that they don't do things because they're not motivated. If I only did things when I'm motivated, I would not get a lot of things done.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated to do the podcast every time we come on here. I'm definitely not motivated to edit the podcast every week. I'm not motivated to go on every single run. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., I'm definitely not motivated to get out of bed every day. But there are things that need to get done for me to get where I need to get to, and that's discipline.
Discipline's powerful. So the analogy or the reason why I brought this up or had it on my mind is because this post that I saw it was just a black screen, and it said motivation in white with a big flame that got littler and littler over 7 days. And then there was a white line that said discipline, and that flame stayed the same exact size every single day. And to me, it got me fired up because we in society often use the word motivation as like, yeah, I'm fucking going, I'm this, I'm that. And then I started thinking about the clients that we've brought on and the people that have stuck with us and the people that haven't stuck with us. There's always motivation to get started. Like when
everyone's motivated at the beginning.
Yeah. Like you hear something, it fucking fires you up. You're like, yeah, I'm going to fucking lose this weight. I'm going to get this new job. I'm going to go after this new promotion. I'm going to go after this new car, like whatever it is, because this person did it and it motivated me to want to get started because I've been lacking in something. And that motivation can go away like this because the second you don't show up for yourself, the second that you don't actually stick to the things you say you're going to do, it fades out.
Bro, it don't even have to be that. You could be doing them, and just 3 days later, you're like, you forgot whatever you heard that fired you up, and you just don't feel like getting out of bed today, or you don't feel like going to work out today. Motivation is a fleeting thing. You're never going to be motivated for extended periods of time, man.
Yeah.
Like, motivation hits, and when motivation does hit, I try to take advantage of it. Like, if it hits, I'm like, okay, I need to go do something right fucking now because I know that this is only going to last like an hour or two. And then I'm going to be right back to where I was.
Yep. Yeah, because it's the subconscious. Like you don't, like you said, you don't do it that one time. Your brain's like, oh, okay, you don't need to do it next time. And then you don't do it next time. And next thing you know, that flame is completely fucking gone. But when you fucking stay consistent and you show up day over day and remain disciplined through the ups and downs, through the hard times, it's like, whoa. And then that's when I think discipline becomes a habit. I think you have to have discipline before you can have habits in your life, because habits, they're non-negotiables. They're something you don't think about. They're something you just do on a daily basis, to the point where you just subconsciously are doing these things because you know you have to, because they're keeping you in line, they're keeping you moving, they're whatever. And so that discipline turns into those habits that then turn into, like, I would say, fallen buckets of your pillars in life.
That's where I was going to get to next, is that what I need people to really understand is that you can be disciplined in some areas and not other areas, which I have found with myself over extended periods of time. And it's something that I'm constantly working on. And I feel like over the last couple months, I've gotten a handle on things more. And saying gotten a handle on sounds so negative too. Like, there's so many things I like to use these phrases and they sound so much worse than they are. Because I don't mean it like it was this horrible thing. But I could be so disciplined, dude, in working out, in my diet. And then Friday night rolls around, I'm like, let's go get fucked up. Let's go drink. And then Saturday I'm drinking. And it's like, okay, so I can be disciplined in all these areas. I know that this is one thing that is getting me further away from my goals, but I can't give it up. And so like this can be for anybody. Like people work out just to supplement a bad diet, or they're super strict on food so they don't have to work out. Like there's a lot of ways that this works. Or you can be super disciplined at work and not with your family. Like there's all kinds of like push and pulls to it. And just because you're disciplined in one area doesn't mean you're disciplined everywhere.
Yep. It's going to ebb and flow too. I mean, it's going to change and pull, and you're going to go in all sorts of different directions until you kind of figure it out to see how you can go straighter, stay on the tracks more. Yeah, it's weird. It's now 2 months down from not drinking, from not having junk food, from not eating fast food for me. And it's been extremely eye-opening because I'm realizing things that I haven't seen before, and I am achieving things that I haven't thought I would. And so when we were talking about half Ironman training and like how that stuff is going, I've been thinking a lot about the concept of, I guess we could just go with Zach saying like, do hard things, and how important that is to get to that next like tier in your life. And so I've been thinking of all the different areas where I'm doing hard things. Dude, I'm on the road 4 days out of the week trying to get my territory to what it needs to be in sales, so that way half the year it's self-sufficient and hopefully running itself. I do hard things with driving long distances and staying on top of my physical activity when I get to the hotels, when I'm at rest areas, like the things that I'm doing in that realm to keep this like moving in motion is hard. And then you add on top the Ironman training for it. It's fucking hard. And then you add on trying to show up for your fiance, your friends, your family. It's hard. And all of these things are like unlocking little tiny doors for me where it's like, well, now I'm appreciating this more. Now I'm focusing over here more. Now I'm realizing this more. And then also doing the hard things of not pulling into that fucking Chick-fil-A, not pulling into that Taco Bell or McDonald's.
Damn, bro, he hasn't eaten so fast.
I know.
He don't even know what they are.
I had to think. But instead, it's being like, you know what? I'm going to spend a little extra time and stop at this restaurant, get a to-go meal, and now I'm eating chicken and veggies. It's hard when I sit down at a Texas Roadhouse to get a steak and veggies for dinner to not be like, hey, let me get that Blue Moon.
I thought you were about to say no rolls. I'm like, you got to at least have a roll.
Oh, no, I save calories for the rolls. I only eat 2. I limit myself to 2, and then I'm done.
I limit myself to 2 baskets.
But I'm realizing that all these things are so fucking hard to stay on top of all this stuff, to manage all this stuff, to stay clear-minded, focused, all of these things. But like, dude, the reward at the end has been so fucking gratifying. And when I look back at my journal and I see where I was 3 years ago, I'm like, this is why I'm fucking doing it. This is why I'm making those decisions. This is why I'm pushing the limits. This is why I'm doing what some people would deem as like unrealistic or not capable because life is too fucking busy. Life is only too busy for the things that you're not prioritizing or the things that you don't want to do. When you prioritize something because you know there's something at the end of it, it becomes just second nature and it forms into your lifestyle. When I first signed up with Tribal and I was like, I'm going to do a half marathon, I didn't go to Ryan and be like, or I went to Ryan and I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I travel all the time and blah, blah, blah. He's like, take a step back. We'll start here. Then we'll build on it. Then we'll go here and we'll build on it. And
it's easy to sell yourself excuses to talk yourself out of it.
Yes. Dude.
You don't naturally want to do the hard thing. You never want to. It's something that you need to do. I already did that one.
Oh, you did? Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't see you do it. No, 100%. And so if there's changes that you want to make in your life, if there are things that you want to change and do and accomplish in life, look at it from a smaller perspective. Instead of looking at it like, what are all these big things that I can add into my life and then change in my life and do, take a step back, realize what the end goal is, and then implement little tiny things into that lifestyle so that way you can achieve it, that way you can go after it, and that way you can see progress where you don't get discouraged, where you don't get defeated, where you don't get in your head about not being perfect. Just go out there, do the little fucking things so that way they start adding up. And the next thing you know, you have the discipline, the motivation, because all of this stuff is building up to what you actually want to go after because you're doing the things daily. If I wasn't doing these things daily in little small buckets, I would have never been able to get to where I'm at right now. I would have never had this vision that I have right now, or these thoughts or these goals that I have right now. But it's through having that fucking discipline in life to be able to be like, you know what? This is more important than this. Even though I know it's the harder answer. I know it's the harder, what's that saying Nick says? The harder, choose the hard no or something?
The hard right over the easy wrong.
Yeah. Fucking do that, because the reward at the end of it is so nice. And for the first time in my life, bro, I feel like I'm finally prioritizing me and what I want. And I see confidence in myself that I've never seen before. I always was like, no, you're not good enough for this. No, you can't do this.
The more you show up for yourself, the more confidence you build. That is literally, bro, I feel like the key to everything that we preach, to all of our coaching, is like, that's what it comes down to, is like they lack confidence, so they don't even want to get started because they don't believe that they're good enough for whatever goal they want to achieve. Mm-hmm. But the more that you get them to do these small things, to get easy wins, then it's like, okay, now I can go for that next thing. Now I can go for that next thing. And all of a sudden, you're aiming at that big goal that you had because you're more confident in who you are as a person.
Yep. Dude, it's wild. There would be people that would give me compliments. This is growing up. Whether it was at work, you're a great worker. I'd be like, no, the fuck I'm not. Like, I'm not special. I'm not good. Hey, you cooked this steak really well. No, I didn't. I could have done it better. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It could have been something so little of like, I like the way you fold your clothes or organize your closet. I'm like, no, it could be better. But now I'm taking pride in the stuff that I've worked so fucking hard on. And guess what?
But I also think you need that piece at some point in your life. I feel like you need to have that, like, kind of like a chip on your shoulder to be like, no, I could do more. Because if you would have just taken all these compliments and like, yeah, you're right, I am. Eventually, that's going to go to your head and you're going to stop trying. You're like, I'm just the shit anyways. I don't need to do anything else. I'm already got all these people telling me how great I am and all these things that I do good. Why do I need to do anything else? Then you become stagnant. Because you didn't, or you do think you could do better and you don't take those, because I'm the same way. Mm-hmm. People comment, I'm like, whatever. Like, I brush it off. We talk about all the time how we're not good at receiving things like that.
Yeah. I
talked to my dad about this DTI 50 just the other day, and he gave me a lot of praise. You as well. But I'm like, I'm going to say thank you, and I appreciate it, but like, I don't know how to take this in. Like, I don't know how to just take this and be like, yeah, let me internalize this. Yeah. Like, I know, like, there's a ton of people who would love to hear the things that my dad said to me from a parent. Mm-hmm. And, like, I just don't know how to receive it. And I feel bad not to. But I feel like, in a way, that's why we're so driven. That's why we're so ambitious. Because, like, we're still trying to prove to ourselves that everything that people say to us is valid.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just thinking in, like, around like high achievers and things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's cool. I never really thought that I would have this like confidence in myself or like belief that.
Even the fact that you're calling yourself a high achiever though.
Yeah.
Cause like I do classify myself as a high achiever, but I wouldn't always have. But like the things that I listen to, like, oh, the type of people who listen to this. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking me. Mm-hmm. But it is a weird concept to get behind.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. Dude, there's just so much good in life, man, and I want everybody to experience this. So when I'm talking about myself or I'm talking about you or I'm talking about our clients, it's truly because like I didn't always have this mindset. I didn't always have this vision on life, and I didn't always realize that like we as humans can truly achieve and accomplish whatever we want to. We can get out of any dark time. We can get out of any stage of life, whether that's an abusive relationship or when you're fat or when you're super skinny because you have like body dysmorphia or you're super depressed or anxious. Like every single thing that we go through in life, we can get through. And when you get through that, you can truly advance to the next stages of what you want to achieve and accomplish. I wrote in my journal, and maybe this is like why I fucking wrote this down to talk about, not knowing that we would get to this point on the podcast. But I told myself, you have overcame, where's it at? Oh, you have overcome any and every obstacle you have ever encountered. Don't think you can't do something. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm like, I can do this. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bro, conversations we have, the things that, you know, we think of or we strive to or what we want to achieve. It's like now I'm to the point where I'm like, I can do this and I will do this and I will make a fucking change. and it's powerful. So like the people that are out there that are struggling right now, like there was one point where you fucking had a hard day, you got through it. There was a time where your family member had passed away, you got through that. There's a time where you did shitty in school and you thought that terrible grade you got was going to impact you drastically. There's a time you didn't make that sports team. There's a time that you didn't get into that college. There's a time that you fucking made the wrong decision, hanging out with the wrong crew that took you down the wrong path. Like all of those things have taught you lessons to get you to where you are right now. And no matter if you're extremely grateful and happy and everything's going good in life, or you're fucking questioning everything, where am I at? What am I doing? Why am I here? Why didn't I achieve this? My family, all these things. It doesn't matter where you are in life right now. As long as you show up for yourself every single day, the hard days will only get easier because the good days make the hard days better. And every single good day you have is a reflection on why you don't want to have another bad day. And so as you have those ebbs and flows, as you're going through life, as you're figuring these things out, realize that these peaks and valleys may seem big right now, but there's a way that you can stabilize them and get them flowing like a nice river where they're not so big, they're not so drastic, and you don't have these feelings, thoughts, doubts, whatever it is, because you're working on it, because you're showing up, because you're doing it. And then that's when you start to see life changes, when you start checking these boxes, having the discipline, instilling habits in your lifestyle, to then look back and be like, oh, fuck, I'm having good thoughts now. I feel better now. I got a good job now. I have a house now. I got a good car. Damn, I'm doing pretty fucking good. And then from there, you just keep elevating, you keep doing more. But it truly starts with the little things in life, man. Because a couple years ago, my journal says that I was not thinking this way. And it's fucking cool to know that I am now.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Got anything else for us?
No, I honestly felt like that was your wrap up. I was just letting
cool.
you go.
Yeah,
Dude.
no, it's I just feel like super I feel grateful right now.
Yeah.
Really, really grateful for life. And really grateful for the things that are going on in it. So I guess to like wrap this podcast up is just to fucking go after it, to push through, to be courageous, to be charismatic, to have passion, and to just have drive to continue to go down the life that you want to and the life that you want to create. The only thing that's holding us back from achieving anything is the thoughts that we have in our head about ourselves, about a situation. If you fucking have negative thoughts, start talking positively and watch the positivity grow. If you're hanging around shitty people, start hanging around a different crowd and watch the good crowd carry you out of that. If you're following toxic people on social media, exile that shit from your life. Start following motivational things. Start watching motivational things. If you're eating like shit, change that. When you start changing those little things in life, it will build, it will grow, it will compound, and then you'll be able to go after the things that you want because your vision will be clear, your mindset will be clear, and you'll have a lot more good days than the bad days. So that's all I got. Have a desire to inspire. Kiss your mama for us. It's on.
Peace. Optic Nerve was our very first sponsor here at the Desire to Inspire podcast, and it's still one that we are pumped to be partnered up with today. I was linked up with them when I was living in Colorado. They are owned and operated out of Vail, and all of their products get tested in the mountains, so you know that it's built for an active lifestyle. Freddie and I rock these things all the time. They are made with planet-friendly materials from recycled plastics to natural wood, and every pair comes with a lifetime warranty. So, I mean, what are you really doing? Hit the link in our bio, support DTI, support Optic Nerve, look fly doing it. Whether you're just out enjoying a nice stroll or getting active, Optic Nerve has got your back. So go to opticnerve.com and use code DTI for 20% off your orders today. That's opticnerve.com, code DTI.